Ah, so this right here is the OPPO Find N, which is the latest foldable in the smartphone industry. I've been using it as my daily driver for quite a while, and a lot of folks actually believe that foldables are the future of smartphones. But honestly, after having lived the foldable life for quite some time now, I have to say I'm not really a fan of it and not looking forward to that. Now, why do I say that? Well, that's what this video is all about. This is one from GTR, and you're watching, well, my thoughts on the OPPO Find N and the world of foldables in general and why I am not really excited about it. Let's get started. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about the OPPO Find N for a bit, and let's start by talking about the design here, which is clearly the biggest highlight here. You see, I've used both the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2 and 3 before using this, and while both of those devices excel in their own ways, the Find N definitely feels like the most polished foldable that I've used in this sort of a form factor. The design just fits perfectly in hand. It's small and ergonomic and just perfect for when using with both hands. Perfect for using with both hands. Keep this line in mind because, yeah, that's one of the biggest and the most important verdict points of the Find N. But yeah, the Find N's hardware design definitely feels refined and adds value to the fact that OPPO waited so long to finally roll out their first commercially available foldable phone. The front display here uses the more common 18:9 aspect ratio, which basically allows for content to be displayed the way you're used to. And the 5.5-inch display definitely feels easy to use with one hand. Of course, the weight of 275 grams makes it a heavy device to use with a single hand, but compared to its competition, that's still good because of the overall weight distribution. And the other talking point obviously is the foldable display here. And kudos to OPPO for figuring out how to ensure that the crease isn't visible. I mean, yes, if you actively start looking for it, then it's going to be visible for sure. But in a general use case, you won't really notice the crease here. Also, similar to Samsung's Galaxy Fold 3, you do get the flex mode here, which OPPO calls the flex firm mode, but it's basically the same thing. This is undoubtedly a great feature to have and ensures that you can use your smartphone for content consumption with ease without having to tire your hands. Speaking of which, the panel here is amazing for content consumption, be it YouTube or Netflix. Everything here works like a premium device should. Okay, so that was the design and the display. Now, I won't be dwelling into much detail about the camera or the performance here. They're both flagship grade hardware here, and the overall performance is amazing. Flagship cameras with Snapdragon 888, everything is as good and it works basically as a flagship device should. No complaints there, and if you want to know a little bit in depth about it, there are plenty of other videos out there that you can watch. Now, the things that I will be stressing on is the real world usage of the Find N and the lack of any sort of optimization, primarily on the software segment. So the Find N comes with ColorOS out of the box, but there isn't any Google Play services here. Now I was able to successfully install Google Play Store on this, however, but the experience is still far from perfect, which was to be expected. Now that's already one area where the Galaxy Z Fold3 fits my use case better. But more importantly, let's talk about the app optimizations, or more so the lack of it. For instance, while some apps stretch out just fine into the full screen mode, most apps just work in a single screen, and the phone allows you to change the position of that app, be it on the left, center, or right side. Now, of course, this is not OPPO's fault per se, since the apps need to be updated to support a larger aspect ratio, but this single point basically spoils the whole experience for me. You see, while the Find N works great for when you want to multitask on the phone, how much time do you actually spend with two apps open at the same time? Like you said, it's fluid, but how many times will I actually be using it? The majority of the time is spent in a single app. And for using a single app, if I have to use expanded mode, that's pointless considering that half of the apps don't even work on the screen. And if I have to use it in a folded form like this, well, I can technically use it, but then again, it's a very heavy phone. 275 grams is not easy to carry with one single hand. It's a very heavy phone to use. I mean, the whole idea of a foldable for me is to get a bigger screen space when I need it, but otherwise be able to use the apps that I regularly use with ease. With the Find N or foldables like these in general, my one-handed usage is basically gone. Sure, the Find N works great for when traveling and watching a couple of shows, like I said, but that's about it. The idea of opening a phone to a bigger display definitely looks and feels cool, but when I talk about the practical aspect of it, I found myself being a little less productive than compared to a normal Android device or an iPhone for that matter. I mean, a normal smartphone is what I'm trying to say, works better and is far more productive as compared to a foldable, where half of the time I'm just wasting my time trying to figure out which screen to use it on because the apps aren't optimized for it. Also, I'm stressing a lot on one-handed usage because a lot of times I'm just walking around doing some other activity and using a phone at the same time. That is not a luxury I can afford with a foldable of this form factor. I mean, if I want to use it realistically, I have to always use it with two hands. The single-handed usage is just not good enough. I mean, it's fine for using it every now and then, and it's definitely far better than all the other foldables like the Z Fold because the front here works better as compared to all the other options out there. But once again, it's not a proper way to use a phone. Now, maybe things will become better in the future when foldables like these become slimmer, or maybe they just won't. Maybe foldables aren't even the future. You know, OPPO already has those rollable screens available in the prototypes, and maybe that is what becomes the future. What I'm basically trying to say is that a foldable should basically enhance your overall use case from an Android device, not take away the essential things that already are important to you. For me, a foldable phone like this takes away the one-handed usage, and that basically spoils the whole experience for me. I would rather go with something like the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 because I still get the experience of an Android phone, like a normal Android phone that's productive and it's easy to carry. A form factor like this looks good, is definitely something that you can flaunt, but in reality, I personally don't really find it productive. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful and kind of agree with my opinion, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome tech content. Also, I would love to have a discussion with you guys in the comment section down below. So leave down there with your thoughts on how do you think foldables should be and what the future holds for them. Till then, this is one from GTR and I'll see you in the next one.